So Mel, the last time we did one of these, we spoke about what you don't believe in. You don't believe in, bless.
No, I don't.
But you do believe in personalisation.
Yes, I do.
What's personalisation?
Personalisation is where the person gets to choose and has control over their lives. We've got the examples that we have of this are Brian and Sarah, both of which who have performed at our recent wedding reception, and they were our DJs. They're very much into music, very eloquent, and they decided that that is their thing. They do provide discos for the organisation that they're linked with.
But they also are on radio.
Absolutely, and they're on the path of doing what they want to do and proving that they are actually very good at it. And I only hope that they get the opportunity to do this on a more long-term basis.
Then we've other examples of people.
Absolutely, there's a guy that I'm going to call David, and he is very much into playing his guitar. He's gone to Britain's Got Talent and another, excuse the aeroplane going overhead. Looks like somebody else is doing what they want to do.
Indeed.
So it's he's doing his bit to say, here I am, this is what I want to do. So, you know, it's getting out there, and they are very, very much doing that.
But our world is full of people doing their own thing, however strange that may be. We saw some of them yesterday at the arena in Nîmes.
That's right, reenactors. I mean, my goodness me, how many reenactors were there yesterday? There was hundreds of them, totally hundreds.
Sorry, what's a reenactor?
A reenactor is a person that reenacts a moment of history. Yesterday it was the Romans, and they were reenacting battles of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. So, you know, people do that.
And we've seen them in England, members of the Sealed Knot.
Absolutely. And, do you know, how many have we seen at Bolsover Castle? We've seen tons.
And these are people who, during the week, are clerks and plumbers, and at the weekend they are medieval
knights, ladies, peasants. You have got all sorts.
People are very interested in different things. They want to do their own thing.
Absolutely. And it's something that people very often take for granted. And yet for somebody with a communication difficulty, it's not as easy as that.
But your Mark could be thought to have had at one point a communication difficulty.
That's right, yes he did. He didn't start talking until he was 5. And the reason that he started talking was down to Makaton. Makaton is a language program that uses signs from BSL, but and also signs the key words, which is part of sign systems.
But, I mean, before you finish with Mark, what's Mark doing now?
Mark currently, he's living with Kirby and Paul, absolutely fantastic carers. He's linked with Mel and Mick. Mel is a brilliant hairdresser, and Mick is absolutely fantastic. He's a very good friend.
But he has mates of his own age.
He does have friends of his own age. He has. I'm not going to mention names because of protecting anonymity. But we'll call them Gary and Tony, both of which are his own age, and he's coming on in leaps and bounds. He's got a lot of things. Do you know, he's even changed his hairstyle to match his pop idol.
But he couldn't see you last weekend.
He was too busy.
You were quite happy about that.
I was hugely happy about that. I think it's absolutely brilliant that he's leading the life that he wants to lead. And he's learning in the process as well.
So somebody, and Mark was one of them with a communication difficulty, wants to do their own thing.
Yes, and why not?
So what's the barriers in the way?
This is really, really upsetting for me. I find it really, really heartbreaking and hugely upsetting. And the fact that Mark didn't start talking until he was 5. I went for an interview at a school. Looks a brilliant, brilliant school. And I am hugely passionate about Makaton for people that have problems communicating. On this particular school's website, it promotes that for children that have communication problems, stuff will be in place for them. I don't know what, because the teacher that I saw said we don't do, or I know a little bit of Makaton, which consisted of good morning and goodbye. Well, I don't think that's enough for children. If it was my son, I'd want a little bit more than that. And I can only go about what I would want for my son and what I'd want for the parents. And I don't think good morning, and she didn't even sign good morning right. So I find it hugely, hugely upsetting that children are going to be put in that position.
But she said that the school didn't need Makaton because, or this particular child didn't need Makaton because
they could communicate. If the child can communicate, which is great, but if that foundation and that knowledge and the foundation of the information that's actually being presented within the national curriculum needs that understanding to take place, you know, that is what it's there for. Makaton is not BSL. BSL is a whole language in its own right. It's nothing to do with BSL. Makaton is about assisting communication through signs and symbols.
So who's it for?
It is for anybody that needs help with communication, and that could be from cerebral palsy, it could be autism like Mark, it could be somebody that does have a hearing impairment, it could be challenging behaviour, it could be dementia. The list is endless. It is not just for people that can't hear.
Okay. So Makaton isn't just signing, it's symbols as well.
Yes.
And you, if I remember properly, took the whole thing about personalisation and people making plans about what they want to do in life, and you brought it on a bit.
I have. I've got a person-centred plan that is geared for adults.
Sorry, what do you mean by a person-centred plan?
A person-centred plan that it's about having choice and control, but it's adapted so that people with communication difficulties can actually understand it. So again, it adds foundation to what is being said.
So it helps people make a list of what they want to do in life, but it helps them make the list with symbols.
With signs and symbols.
Excellent.
And do you know, a lot of people are very much interested in this, which is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, how do people find out more about it?
Get in touch.
How do they get in touch?
Email address.
Sounds good.
Melanie
Dot.
P Personalised. Oh gosh. Oh, you can have me personal email. It's melanie.star@yahoo.co.uk. There's my personal email address. Just get in touch. Get in touch with me.
You've got a website.
I have got a website, and that's personalised.co.uk.
Very good.
There are amazing Makaton trainers throughout the UK.